Now, the less you hear about the secondary, typically the better. And getting Dale Buchanan again. We hear about Patrick Peterson and Tyrann Mathieu and Gerard Powers and Tony Jefferson, Rashad Johnson. The one guy in the secondary we don't hear a lot about is Dale Buchanan, and he's just back there, making some big hits. I think it was in the second quarter. He probably should have been flagged. Talking about the Bengals scribes, right. Should have been flagged for a helmet-to-helmet hit.
Yeah.
But beyond that, he had 8 tackles, a couple tackles for a loss. A recovered fumble, a sack in the game. He came up huge in the second half. The Cardinals secondary making a difference, not just in the defensive backfield, but up front as well.
I think another guy that's really flying under the radar on the defensive side is Kevin Minter. I mean, he had 10 tackles, I think 7 solo, QB hit. I mean, he's everywhere.
He's been solid.
Yeah.
And I said last night in the office watching the game there, it was sort of that the guy, the unsung hero is Dale Buchanan. I mean, he's just that guy that mixes it up. Listen, this guy was a safety in college. They've moved him in to play a linebacker, quasi-strong safety role, and he's taking it on. I mean, he doesn't even complain. You never hear the guy say a bad word about anybody. And he's in the backfield half the time. He's mixing up with offensive linemen, with running backs, tight ends, and you never hear the guy complain.
He was known for being a hard hitter, though, even though he was at Washington State.
Right.
Even though he's a defensive back. But yeah, I remember him talking about even before he played in the NFL. He said, "Yeah, I'm probably going to have to be careful as far as how I hit guys in the NFL and clean that up a little bit." He's going to get fined for that helmet-to-helmet hit. He should have been flagged for it on Sunday. So hopefully even though he didn't get flagged for it, hopefully that'll be a wake-up call, Dale. We love your energy out there and keep hitting hard, but make sure you keep it clean because you're going to get flagged for those more often.
Such a fine line for defensive guys. You're told to hit people and rack them up and knock them down, and then. Well, be careful how you hit them. And these guys are going 4.4, 4.5 speed, and with pads on,
with
and
no
it's
hesitation.
Be careful how you hit that guy. That's so hard. I do feel at times for defensive guys because don't grab them, don't do this, don't do that.
Well, quarterbacks are sliding too. I mean, it's like if a quarterback slides and you're already going to hit him, how do you get out of the way?
Right.
It's like the quarterback
like that hit on Bridgewater.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's like almost like a quarterback sometimes gets to induce a penalty by doing something.
No, the biggest thing is there, even when a quarterback's in a slide, is just don't spear him. Don't put your head down and go in. Just at least pull your head back.
Of course, when they show it in super slow-mo, it's so easy to say, oh, that was avoidable. That was intentional. He was targeting. But you watch that in real time, which fans never really get to do.
No.
It's that first play, but then it's slow-mo replay after slow-mo replay, and it looks bad, frankly. But if you show it more often than in real time, it's just bang, bang.
Oh, yeah.
It's
It's
tough
very
for these
easy to
defenders.
see in slow motion.
Yeah, exactly.
Not so easy when it's happening full speed. So here we are, 8-2. Cardinals are in a commanding position right now in the NFC, not just the West, but the entire NFC. So how's the rest of the season play out?
The easiest game on the schedule is at San Francisco, and I'm not chalking it up as an easy win just because
It's the NFL.
It's the NFL. Plus, the 49ers are going to give him a better test now. Colin Kaepernick's not there to serve up a bunch of pick sixes. Blaine Gabbert didn't have a great game on Sunday, but he didn't throw a pick, didn't throw a turnover. So he's a little more efficient in that regard. And the Seahawks still have a very good defense, so I think you have to take that into account. So I don't think the Cardinals fear Blaine Gabbert, but I don't think he's going to make quite as many mistakes either. So.
Yeah. Flat out, who would you guys rather have the Cardinals face?
Yeah, exactly.
Kaepernick or Blaine Gabbert?
All things considered, depends on which Colin Kaepernick shows up, right?
Yeah. That's true.
But after that, it's at St. Louis. I know the Rams have been struggling, but they did hand the Cardinals. The Rams' only road win of the season was at the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So there's that.
And they play well against
Arizona.
Arizona.
It's a personal game.
Yeah.
Bruce Arians and Jeff Fisher don't care for each other.
Right. And go ahead.
After that, you got a home against Minnesota. Beginning of the year, that looked like a gimme. Not anymore.
No.
At Philadelphia, the Eagles are struggling, but who knows? They're kind of a Jekyll and Hyde team. Maybe they're going to be back in the swing of things.
Well, and it's Philadelphia
in
late.
December.
Yeah, it's in December. Yeah, that's never easy.
And then 2 home games to end the season against Green Bay and Seattle. There are. I don't even think the 49ers game is a gimme, but there is one in the schedule. It's this next game, and that's it.
Yeah. I do see them taking care of business in San Francisco next week, and the week after that. I don't think the Rams can beat them twice. I think we predicted that before.
Yeah.
Bruce Arians going up against Jeff Fisher.
It has happened before.
It has happened before.
That just falls in the category of a rivalry game, though. Where it's like the records just don't seem to matter quite as much.
Right.
Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah. I would.
Oh yeah.
And I'd say after the next 2 weeks we're 10-2, sitting pretty.
Showing some pictures now of the San Francisco game earlier, and that was such a gimme with Kaepernick throwing all those picks.
47-7.
Oh my gosh, it was just ridiculous.
Kaepernick was the Cardinals MVP.
He was.
No question.
He clearly was.
Did he throw more touchdown passes than Palmer did in that game? I don't remember.
I think he did that game.
You guys want some more Carson? So here's some crazy
yeah.
Carson Palmer statistics here. He ranks first in the NFL in so many categories.
Yeah.
Touchdown passes, touchdown passing percentage. 8% of his passes have gone for touchdowns. Yards per attempt, 300-yard games. He's got 7 of them. Games with at least 3 touchdown passes. He's got 6 of them. Games with 100 plus passer rating. He's got 7. He's number 1 in the NFL in all of these categories. Games with 300 plus passing yards. He's number 1. Completions of 20 plus yards, and he's second in passer rating, right behind Tom Brady. Third down passer rating, and first downs passing. 147 passes for a first down, tied for second. Number 1 or number 2 in all of those categories. Does that spell MVP to you?
Oh yeah.
It spells he's good.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because yesterday we were reading on ESPN, who's the MVP, Tom Brady or Cam Newton? There was not even a mention of Carson Palmer. Not even a mention.
Wow.
It's who's better, Cam Newton or Tom Brady?
And Newton and Brady could absolutely be ahead of him, but still, I mean, those numbers suggest he should be right there in the conversation.
And this is a guy who was jettisoned by the Bengals. You know, and then the Raiders traded him away for, what did we give the Raiders? I mean, hardly anything.
A 6th-round pick, I think.
Yeah, 6th-round pick and some cash to get Carson Palmer. So it was a guy who, former Heisman Trophy winner, who was just falling on hard times in the NFL, and he's found a home with Bruce Arians.
And so we mentioned it a little bit last night. You got worried because Carson even admitted there's a lot to prove. You know, it's not just any other game when he plays the Cincinnati Bengals. Those first 2 picks, you're thinking, no,
hopefully
just be yourself.
Hopefully, if they meet in the Super Bowl, he'll just skip those first 2 possessions and go right into the touchdown.
Would have helped my fantasy team if
he still did okay.
Yeah,
he did all right.
26
4 touchdown
points.
passes. He's okay.
But seriously, I mean, you look at him, and the numbers you just read off are ridiculous numbers.
And he's got 27 touchdown passes through 10 games. The most before that for the Cardinals through 10 games ever. Kurt Warner had 20. He's got 7 more already. And he had 4 last. And again, another thing we haven't talked about, Carson Palmer's got a couple tight ends to throw to.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals have some decent pass-catching tight ends for the first time in as long as I can remember, with Darren Fells, Jermaine Gresham. Troy Nicholas had the 2 a few weeks ago as well. So Fells looks like the real deal. His touchdown catch in was it the first quarter or the second quarter? Was a great catch in coverage. Jermaine Gresham had a big one to put the Cardinals back ahead. I mean, the Cardinals are as dangerous enough with just the wide receivers they have. Let alone the tight ends and the running backs out of the backfield like David Johnson. I don't think anyone comes close to having the number of weapons the Cardinals and Carson Palmer do.
And that really helps him out, obviously.
Great picture with Andy Dalton and Carson Palmer there, you know, just talking after the game.
Yeah.
What a win for Carson and going back against his former team. But I'll tell you what, we were talking about this last night in the sports office, and that is Carson Palmer always deals with us in such a professional manner, right? He's always cool, calm, collected, thinks about his responses, not overzealous about anything. But if you follow him on Instagram, did you see the Matt Barkley picture last night?
No.
Oh, right.
He posts this. Apparently, there's a bucket challenge they do every week, and the quarterbacks are involved. You're trying to throw for accuracy and hit the bucket.
Oh, yeah.
Kurt Warner used to do it all the time with the guys. Carson's doing it with the guys. Whoever loses has to pay some price. So he's had pictures on Instagram of Patrick Peterson in a dress. He's had pictures of Matt Barkley in a dress on a plane to Cleveland. Last night, see this one? He's wrapped up in Gatorade towels and a jockstrap, and he was running on the field.
Yeah.
He was on the field in pregame running, and they took pictures and sent it out.
We just assumed that Matt Barkley lost a bet about the USC-Oregon game.
Yeah, no.
Right.
This is
Completely
his bucket
separate.
challenge.
Bucket challenge.
And Carson's orchestrating all of this.
Yeah.
And so he's got this personality, this sense of humor. Last week we had the picture of him up at Lake Pleasant with Michael Floyd on a boat, and he was jumping into Lake Pleasant last week when it was 60 degrees outside. The water was probably 40, and the caption was Cannonball. You know, so this mild-mannered, serious, kind of professional quarterback we see obviously has some personality, and he's keeping this team light, and he's keeping the offense going.
And it's great because he's a veteran that's setting a tone you know, for the younger guys, and he knows he's showing them how to handle the media.
Yeah.
You know, they only get to know so much. Conduct yourself in a professional manner.
Which isn't fun for us, but still.
Right, it's not fun for us, but honestly, it keeps them out of trouble, which is what we like to see.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then also to kind of lighten it up during practice. And guess what? This game we played our entire life, it's fun. It's supposed to be fun.
Oh, absolutely.
Is there a more fun trio of quarterbacks in the NFL than Carson Palmer after his thrust last week in Seattle, and Drew Stanton with his dance.
The dance is still.
And then Matt Barkley last Sunday. I mean, it's just it's a fun group, and you can tell they like each other, and they're not just a group of guys that have to play together. They're actually a team, and I think that has a lot to do with Bruce Arians.
So you heard Carson say that gesture wasn't towards the Seattle fans; it was to his. Do you buy it? It was to his friends in the stands.
No.
The NFL didn't either.
I don't think so. But there has been a trust fund created for him to pay the fine.
So,
what was it, $11,000?
So Michael Floyd just posted on Instagram a video of the guys fishing. So he's got Carson Palmer, Michael Floyd, Troy Nicholas.
They're great. They actually like each other.
Yeah.
And they're all on a boat. Hey Brett, can you see this on your camera? Can you see this video? This is Michael Floyd on Instagram. I'll try to hold it really steady. See if you can zoom in on that. I don't know how I have to hold it. There we go. So here's all the guys. This is posted just 6 minutes ago on Instagram, a video of these guys out fishing. I don't know where they're fishing, but they're all out on a boat, and they're all fishing, and somebody catches a little fish that they have to throw back. But this is what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, and obviously it's Victory Monday, right? So Coach says, all right, take off, you got to win. But here they are out on a lake somewhere, and I don't know when this was, but it was posted just a few minutes ago. So kind of fun. I was kind of searching for the Carson Palmer, Matt Barkley running on the.
I see that.
Yeah, it's just too funny.
But you know what? That 2 words: squad goals.
Yeah.
Right. You don't have to associate with each other off the field.
Yeah.
You can just see each other at training facilities.
Here's the Matt Barkley.
Turn your phone off, Fouhy.
Somebody's calling me repeatedly. Here's the Matt Barkley picture that Brett showed us earlier. This is the one of him wrapped in Gatorade towels.
Oh yes.
It's a good look.
It's a great look for Matt. Yeah. But he was also in a dress 3 weeks ago on the trip to Cleveland because he lost. So I think if I'm Matt Barkley, I'm stopping. I'm not going to play the bucket challenge anymore because
retire early.
Yeah, seriously, he's running around in underwear and Gatorade towels on the field last night before the game. It's like, who does this? Other than Carson Palmer.
He had a smile on his face.
Oh yeah.
I think this is one of the tighter knit groups that we've seen for a while.
Here's the Patrick Peterson picture with the cowboy attire after losing the bucket challenge. So he posts all this stuff on.
Shouldn't he get some sort of cushion? I mean, come on, he's a defensive back.
Here we go. Here's Barkley in his superhero outfit going to Cleveland after losing the bucket challenge. This is all Carson Palmer doing this stuff.
Yeah. We're making Brett do more work today. Sorry.
I know. Sorry, Brett. Keeping him busy.
Yeah.
Is that crazy? This is on the plane in a superhero outfit.
I haven't seen much Carson punishments. He must be winning.
He's winning.
He's winning a lot.
Well, Kurt Warner used to do that too. He'd win all the time, and then he'd have fun with the guys. But Carson's actually holding them to these penalties, which is really funny to see.
Well, do you remember, Craig, in the preseason, the defensive backs, they're a tight unit too. You remember Patrick Peterson buying all the defensive backs those little scooters that they ride around in? You know, they're just just from a media standpoint, every single guy in the defensive backfield is so quotable. They're so fun to talk to.
No, they are.
And you remember last week, Patrick Peterson, an impromptu interview with Larry Fitzgerald. These guys genuinely like each other.
Yeah.
You don't always get that. Sometimes you got to fake it, and these guys aren't faking it.
No, they're not. And that's what I love about this, because there's the intangibles that people talk about, because all we ever want to do in the media is talk statistics. Talk height, weight, and speed, and then how many passes did he complete? Where's he leading the league? What we forget about is the mentality of the head coach, the personality of the guys in the locker room, and are they getting along? And a lot of these players and teams don't get along.
Right.
The Cardinals, that's not the case. They all seem to be having fun. And you look at that Instagram video that Michael Floyd posted, there's guys from every side of the ball, special teams, offense, defense, all out there having fun fishing somewhere. So
how about back in your coaching days? Because that kind of camaraderie you can sense in the off season. You can kind of sense that.
You can create that as a coach.
No,
right.
You can't, no.
How often does that translate into a winning team when you can see
it
that?
It does. I mean, the key difference is it may get you a couple more wins than not. But what you do as a coach is you try to create situations where guys are put into different positions and situations where the personality comes out. And obviously Carson's been a ringleader in this, where he's trying to get. We know Larry Fitzgerald does this kind of stuff. You know, he's a prankster with the receivers and the DBs, and he talks a lot of smack in practice. So they've got that stuff going on. And then now to have Carson come out and just kind of see these things on Instagram and what he's doing with the guys, it's huge. And then Arians is that way. Arians is just off the cuff, and that's what the players love about him. You know, he's just honest. He tells it like it is. The way he sees it is what you're going to hear from him. He doesn't mince words.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a parallel between Fitzgerald and Palmer. I mean, you hope to have one veteran leader on an offense. They've got two great ones that set, they are a great example for for the younger guys.
Yeah.
And, you've got Fitz leading the receiving core. You've got Carson kind of leading the entire offense. But that's just invaluable experience.
Well, you know how tough it is, too, in the league. You're only keeping 50-some guys, 60 with the practice squad.
Yeah.
You're only keeping an X number of guys. So when you're in training camp, it's a battle for every position. So the fun and game stuff is more with the veterans, and the younger guys are just trying to make the team. Once you get that roster set, that 53-man roster plus your practice squad, now you can loosen up a little bit and lighten up and get to know each other.
Because these are the guys that are going to be here.
And that's what's going on. And that's fun to see because they're winning and they're having fun doing it. And that makes all the difference in the world.
You know what's